Guess what, y'all? I found out who the Bears got at the top of their big board. You want to find out? Keep it locked. Welcome, everybody, to an all new episode of CHI Go Bears. As always, it's your boy John Jay, and with me once again is my dog, D Snow from the Go. What's going on, Cuzzo?
Man, I just rolled a 3-1. That's what they said, 3-1 for the pole one. Hey
Okay,
man,
okay.
let me tell you something, man. I said that little thing because right now we rolling the dice and it seems like, man, instead of coming up snake eyes like it used to, everything is coming up beautiful, man. We rolling sevens off the first roll. We rolling a point, rolling it right back. It just look good to be a Bears fan right now, man. We just need to play on the field to show what we see in the offseason, and we are going to be one formidable team and an exciting fan base. How you doing, though, man?
Nah, for real, that's church. I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. You know, I'm always feeling good when I get a chance to join my family and jump
Yes,
on here
sir.
in front of all you wonderful Chicago Bears fans. How y'all doing?
Yes, sir.
And if you haven't hit that like button or that subscribe button yet, what are you waiting for? Help a brother out.
Telling you. And speaking of fam, we're gonna talk about some fam in the show today. I heard. So kind of saw the upcoming. We're gonna talk about fam today. Y'all
Yeah.
gonna get some up close news, something y'all didn't know about us. We're
As
gonna
a
get
matter
into
of
those
fact,
little something
we
today.
can start there. We can start
Okay.
there, D Snow, because I know
Okay.
this one is near and dear to both of us, but even more so to you. So I'll let you go ahead and break that news to the people.
Um, so the crazy thing about this is I'm one of those family members that if my family has made it to a certain stature in life, I'ma still treat them like a regular family member. I ain't gonna act like, oh my God, you're doing this or you're doing that. Can you get me a ticket to the game? Can you buy me a Benz? Can you pay my rent? I'm not that family member. I just want to come hang out and just have fun with you, man, because I know how important that is. And I did that to say this. Congratulations. Shout out to Amir Speed, which is my nephew. He re-signed with the Bears today on a one-year contract. The money situation wasn't disclosed, but who cares, man? To have a family member on my home team, to see my nephew out there on the field taking pictures, having fun, running around, pushing Staley the Bear. I love it, man. It's fun
Yes,
to
sir.
see
Yes,
one
sir.
of your own. And hey, he grew up in the church with us, so you got a chance to see
Yeah,
him growing up. Y'all
absolutely.
got a chance to watch him play in high school and college. He won a championship, when he was in
And for
Georgia.
those,
So
and let me fill in those that aren't familiar with Amir. Amir
okay,
Speed, safety for the Bears. He came in late last season,
hmm
and he just re-signed.
yeah,
News came down today, and he came out of Michigan State,
yeah,
and
yeah,
before that, he was with Georgia, and he won a
yeah,
national championship.
sir.
So yeah, well, go
Hey,
ahead, Snow.
hey, 6'3", 215, 4440. I mean, hey, the kid is all that. And right now he's been starring on the special team. So, hey, we talked about that a couple of episodes ago. It's important to be good on all phases of the field. And we see that they are really, really bulking up the team when it comes to young thoroughbreds that have not only some type of talent, but also have, background. They won somewhere. We're not just picking up guys from anywhere. We're picking up kids that have not only good reputations, but they're winners. So, hey, shout out to Amir. I know we got some other guys to talk about, but we have to get some love to my boy. I wanted to get him on a little FaceTime and give y'all a little love, but we gonna get him on
We'll
the
get
show.
there.
We're
We'll
gonna
get
get
there.
him on the show so y'all can go ahead and we can get ask a couple of good questions and he can give us a little insight on the Bears and what's going on out there. So
Yes,
congratulations
sir.
to him. But go
So
ahead, man.
yeah,
Tell us about the other.
shout out to you, Amir.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations, family.
Congratulations, Amir.
Um, we're definitely thankful that you get a chance to run it back. So yeah,
Yes, sir.
love, much love. But yeah, in addition to that, as always, we ain't gonna stay with y'all too long. We
Yeah.
just wanna, give y'all some details that just came up. So we talked about yesterday, we talked about the start of the voluntary off-season activities,
Yep.
off-season training activities for the Bears. And today we got a little bit more detail. We've had some interviews. These guys they did a press conference today, and one thing that stood out to me, D Snow, that I loved and appreciated was the attendance.
Yeah.
We got a brand new coaching staff, so it's very important to have a nice turnout of players at the first off-season workouts.
Correct.
And D Snow, over 39 players are present right now
Wow.
for this training
How
for
many
this
guys on the roster?
offseason.
Is it 55?
On a regular season roster, yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow. Wow, that's awesome.
so yeah, a huge batch of teammates showed up.
Those other 16, that's probably the rookies, signings,
Well, I got you know your boy John Jay got the list. I got the list of attendees.
We got the list who showed up. I love
got
it.
the list of attendees.
So they took attendance. All right, when I say your name, I need you to raise your hand and say here.
so real quick, let's go over it. Of course, Caleb Williams showed up.
Okay.
And Austin Reed.
Okay.
No Tyson Bagent, but these are voluntary workouts. You want to see the guys show up, but it happens for whatever reason. Could be contract dispute.
We know what Tyson Bagent brings to the field. We love you, Tyson. We love your family. Your dad's the man. Arm wrestling. We love you, bro.
Yeah. So the running backs, Ian Wheeler, who Coach Eric Bieniemy seems like he got a lot of respect for Wheeler. He mentioned that in that DeAndre Swift conversation the other day. So, but Ian Wheeler, Roschon Johnson, Travis Homer, and DeAndre Swift are all in attendance for the running back group. From the wide receiver group, DJ Moore, Devin Duvernay, John Jackson, Olamide Zaccheaus, Roma Dunze, Tyler Scott, and Samori Toure.
Heck, our whole wide receiver room was there. Okay.
Yeah, that wide receiver room. They want to show up and see what Antoine Randall is all about. So
we wanted to see our quarterback and our wide receivers hanging out. So this is good to see that on April the 8th. April, started April 6th. So this is awesome.
Yeah. Well, yesterday, the 7th.
Yesterday, I'm sorry, the 7th.
Tight ends, Stephen Carlson, Joel Wilson, and Jordan Murray. So no Cole Kmet or no Durham Smythe, the new guy.
Okay.
Offensive line, Joe Tooney, Ryan Bates, Theo Benedict, Jonah Jackson, Chris Glazier, and Darnell Wright.
Man, so our new sign is showing up. I love it.
Yeah, it's good to see Joe Tooney, the grizzled vet, showed up.
Yes, sir. Walked in there like, all right, it's my room now.
So notable names that didn't show up. Two of our projected starters in the center, Drew Dahlman, and left tackle, Braxton Jones. Now, one thing to note of Braxton Jones, he's coming off an injury. So you can understand if he doesn't make all of these offseason workouts. That's understandable.
Of course.
Off of the defensive line, Daniel Hardy, Andrew Billings, Zach Pickens, Grady Jarrett, Jamari Croma, and Jervon Dexter Sr. So no Dio, no Sweat. And one name that I don't see on here, and I understand it's voluntary, but I feel like he should be on here. Austin Booker, second year pass rusher last year. I feel like he should be at every workout because he still needs a lot of development.
Dexter Senior, is that the guy that used to play for Carolina?
Florida.
No,
he was. We drafted him.
We drafted him. Okay, that name sounds familiar. I have to make sure. Okay, so we drafted him. Okay.
Yeah, that's the big dude. He about 6'6", 320 in that middle.
Need those.
Linebackers. T.J. Edwards showed up. Carl Jones. I'm gonna butcher his name. I always do. Abangbamiga. I think I got it. Abangbamiga.
Okay.
Tremaine Edwards and Swayze Bowman.
Hey, man.
So good to see. Good to see your leaders.
Looked good just then, boy.
You did. You heard.
Shout out to Thornwood, baby.
You heard. Yes, sir. That's another reason why I know so much about Randall L. Because he went to Thornton when I went to Thornwood, and it was around that same time frame.
We know about that division was crazy back then, man.
But good to see T.J. Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds, some leaders of this defense, showed up. And then your DBs, Jalen Johnson, Tavarius Moore, Jonathan Owens, Elijah Hicks, Alex Cook, Nick McLeod, Josh Blackwell, Kevin Byard, and Amir Speed.
Shout out to Cuzzo.
Good to see Jalen Johnson there. Yeah, one of your highest paid players showing up at the off-season voluntary workouts.
Yeah.
You got to follow suit.
Yeah.
So great turnout so far, and this is only the beginning. I expect to see more on the
Yeah.
next one. So I like the sound of that, D Snow. Anything stood out to you, or you got anything about that?
I mean, for one, I feel like, I think the players are starting to feel the excitement that we're feeling as fans, and they want to buy in. And that's, man, this is what we want. Like I've been talking about every week. We don't have a culture as a team, and we need that. And the only way we're gonna have a culture is the team has to buy in to what the coach is about. And to having that coach the first time that you can actually sit in front of him, ask questions, he can start picking your mind that these guys are not afraid to show up. They're not acting like prima donnas. Oh, I'll show up when I have to. You got your Aaron Rodgers and guys like that that won't show up to what they want. And to see all of these young guys to the vets showing up to not only be able to meet the new teammates, but to start this camaraderie and this new build, I love it, man. I just love seeing everybody come together and having a turnout like that in the early OTAs.
No doubt, no doubt. That camaraderie, let's build
Yes,
it up.
sir. Got to build it
And
up.
one thing that was cool that Caleb Williams mentioned day one of practice yesterday, Ben Johnson met with him. He taught him a few things when they went over a few things, and then today he
Pop
said
quiz.
pop quiz. They said Ben Johnson kicked the door open to the room,
Pop
quarterback room, and
quiz.
came in. Pop quiz. But Caleb liked it.
He appreciated it. Yeah.
He appreciated that. So I love the fact that we got a coach that's gonna be on their ass
Hey.
and players that are receptive to it.
Yeah. We came from a coach last year that seemed like sometimes he couldn't get his foot out his ass. But now it looks like we got a coach that's not only gonna challenge himself, but he's gonna challenge the players. And that does nothing but make each one of them better, and it creates that relationship that we talked about. Because hey, these professionals, if y'all don't know it, some of these professionals don't like being challenged, but the really good ones, the ones that want to get to that top level, they want to make it to that next atmosphere, they want to be challenged. They want to be pushed.
Facts.
They want to be better. So I love it, man. I mean, we got the players we needed to coach. I think it's all coming together, man.
Yeah. And so, okay, so the next topic, D Snow, I want to get into. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but the Bears have a YouTube show that they do called 1920 Football Drive. And it's
Yeah.
kind of a behind the scenes series, kind of like Hard Knocks, but not exactly Hard Knocks. And they were doing it long before they did Hard Knocks last season.
Yeah.
And so yesterday's episode, we got a lot of the behind the scenes of the offseason. We saw at the combine, we saw free agency coming in and signing. And one thing that a lot of people are talking about that are buzzing D Snow is while they were at the combine, somebody was working out in the background and the camera wasn't on it, but you saw a reflection from the glass to behind to show the TV screen of who was working out at the time. And Ryan Poles asked one of his guys, what do we got him ranked at? And this was their number one guy on the board. Guess who that guy was, Lee Snow?
Abdul Carter.
No. Mason Graham, defensive tackle out of Michigan.
Wow.
One of the guys who I said if he falls, that's my number one over Jency.
Wow.
So I think that's a big deal. They might have accidentally revealed a little bit of the game plan, D Snow. But Mason Graham would be a huge get. Now I don't know that he falls. I don't know that they're willing to trade up for him. But I'm a huge fan of Mason Graham, and I would be all for that if they were able to add him to that defensive line. You play him next to Gervon Dexter, and we got a problem for the next decade. But I thought that was pretty cool. And shout out to fellow YouTuber, even though we just getting started in this. We YouTubers officially, so I can say officially fellow YouTuber. But yeah, I want to show some love. Shout out to Just Another Year Chicago. When I was watching 1920 Football Drive, I started hearing some voices on the show of some local guys to Chicago that I've heard on a regular. And his voice stood out. So shout out to Chicago Bears podcasters getting brought in to Chicago Bears production by the Chicago Bears. They watching these Snow.
Yes, sir.
They watching.
It's a new regimen.
So make sure you pull your tie up and get nice and buttoned up. Fuck that. but no, for real though. Shout out to Just Another Year
Yes,
Chicago. It
sir.
was
Yes,
good to
sir.
see that. Ain't no hate on here. It's all
For
love. But
sure. For sure.
I love to see people in this space win because it helps us.
Yes,
So
sir.
definitely appreciate seeing that. But and just one last thing I want to go over real quick. Our buddy Ben Divine, the guy we like to refer to his tweets a lot, Chicago Bears insider. He tweeted out the big board, top 12 actually, Chicago Bears big board for the
Okay.
NFL draft. So I'm gonna go over it real quick. Of course, number one, we just mentioned Mason Graham.
Hmm.
The number two name on the big board, Ashton Jeanty.
Okay.
Number three, Will Campbell, the tackle. Number four, Tyler Warren, another guy who we big on this show. Number five, Amarion Hampton, who we've mentioned a few times, running back. Number six, defensive end out of Georgia, Michael Williams, who we also have talked about. Number seven, Mike Green, who that's a cat that I'm not so sure. I can't really see the Bears bringing him in because he's got some off the field issues.
Okay.
He caught 2 R-word charges. Well,
Ooh.
claims. He was
Yeah, that's
never
tough.
charged, but
Okay.
twice.
That's
And
tough.
y'all,
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say what that R word is and
Yeah.
ruin our
Once
chance
it's
at
co-
monetization, but you
hey,
know what that
once
word is.
once it's a coincidence, two times it's a habit.
Pattern. So
Yeah, it's a pattern. Yeah.
I'm
You
not
got to
so
be
sure.
careful
Not
out there,
only that,
guys.
he's a little bit small for the Dennis Allen scheme. Overly productive though. I want to say 15 sacks. So I can see why he's on the board, but you question some of the offseason. You want to see if that's
Yeah. Do you
legit
want
or
to
not.
bring a guy like that to Chicago, where it's all it's a hot city. You got to be able to take care of yourself there.
See, and the thing is, even if he's innocent,
Yeah.
which innocent until proven guilty,
Of course. Of course.
when those certain people hear
Yeah.
something like that, are they coming out the woodworks?
Pac-Man
They coming out
Jones.
the woodworks.
Hey,
You
Pac-Man
know,
Jones. It seemed like he just couldn't get from in front of himself. You know.
yeah. Even if he's a square and it's got nothing to do
Yeah.
with none of it, they ain't feeling it. They gonna come out and they
Yeah.
gonna
They
they
gonna
gonna
test
put
you.
that label on them. They gonna
Yeah.
test them. So something you might want to take notice on with him. But great talent. After him though, number 8, offensive tackle Armand Membu out of Missouri. And after him at number 9, another offensive tackle out of Texas, Kelvin Banks. Number 10, tight end out of Michigan, Colston Loveland. Number 11, defensive end out of Texas A&M, Shamar Stewart. And then number 12 is the field with a 1% chance.
Meaning basically the Bears know who they looking at.
Yeah.
And my
So
problem is I keep seeing this crap about we might trade up to number 2, man. I do not.
I've been seeing
Man,
that a lot too. A
man, Pro
possibility of,
Football Weekly is really broadcasting that hard. I'm hoping that they just throwing something against the wall, hoping it sticks, because I
yeah, a
think
lot
there's
of
too much talent
times
out there.
I think a lot of times this is stuff they just want to see us do.
Okay.
But one thing we talked about is the depth in this draft is in that second round.
Yeah.
And us having 2 picks, those are gold. I don't want to
Yeah.
give those up. So I mean, there's guys in this draft that I like, but I personally don't feel that this is the year to give up a pick to trade up. There's not that one guy that we just have to have. If we were one guy away, if all we needed was an edge rusher, okay, yeah, go get Abdul Carter. Go trade up, go get Mason Graham,
Now
whatever the
say
case.
this: if we can move up and get Travis, I'm willing to move some pieces.
Even that, I don't know if I am. I love Travis though. I just, like I said, it's so much depth at those. We got 39 and 41.
If I can square away two pieces instead for that, ain't no reason to sit there and just do one and then be chasing the third round.
I love
understand.
Travis. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I feel you on that because he's like I mentioned before. He's one of the guys in this draft. I think is generational.
Yeah.
This is just that year. I don't know if I would give up a second rounder to move up for anybody.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just way too much value. I would actually move down and maybe add a pick.
Okay.
But one thing that stood out on this list, and we've been seeing his name pop up recently on a few mock drafts, Amarion Hampton. And this one is kind of controversial because I've seen a few people saying, "Oh, if they better not take Amarion Hampton at 10." And I agree that 10 is probably too high for the kid. Definitely too high for the kid.
Okay.
But I am a fan of Amarion Hampton. I think he is a really good back, and I think he is going to be even better. He's going to be really good in the pros. But as fans, I want y'all to prepare yourselves for the possibility. There is a possibility that he does get picked at 10. You got to remember who we dealing with, people. Ben Johnson. And I talked about this last week, or maybe it was the week before, but I mentioned the Jahmyr Gibbs situation. When Jahmyr Gibbs was drafted that draft year, even as late as the day of the draft, the kid was projected to still go in the 20s. Leading up to the draft, he was a second rounder, but he was projected to go in the 20s as late as the day of the draft. And the Lions picked him at 10 or 12. Surprised everybody.
Has he panned out or not?
100% has. So I want y'all to prepare yourself for the possibility. We've seen this movie before. Yeah. There's a strong possibility that it plays out again the same way, where Ashton Jeanty goes early like Bijan Robinson did, and a Ben Johnson-led team takes the next guy earlier than what anybody had him projected at.
Yeah. I mean,
prepare your minds for this possibility.
We've been talking about this for weeks. The biggest thing that goes on during the offseason in the NFL is smoke screens, because you don't want guys you don't want guys to know who you're really looking for, because if they know that, then they're going to try to use that against you. They're going to try to get that extra pick out of you because they know you want him. They're going to try to get that play off your team that they want. So you don't want guys to know it's like poker. You don't want these guys to know what you're holding. You want to basically be able to bluff your way into the best pick you can get. So I like the game that we're playing. We're doing our own smoke screen thing, our own line season. So, hey, let's keep it up. We got a couple more weeks of this before it actually jumps off. So, hey, whatever it takes to get this team solid, I'm with it. We're not going to knock any moves that they make because, hey, this is the first year we got to get a Maya scientist a chance to get in the lab and get those beakers full.
Yes, sir.
You like that?
Yeah, I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
Yes, sir.
But overall, I'm digging this big board. I don't have any issues with this big board, D Snow. I'm fine with all of the names. I'm fine with the order. I like it. Ladies and gentlemen, let us know what your thoughts on this big board. And who you would move, if anybody. But you got anything else, D Snow, before we get on?
Man. Hey, Cubs are still in first place. We're still playing well. Gotta love that. Besides that, man, like we've been talking about, the countdown, we need a few more people to go ahead and become a part of this fam with the Chi Go Bears. Hop on board, go ahead and hey, subscribe, man. Holla at us. We want to go live on draft day, and we want to turn up with y'all, man. We want to get a little explicit out here as we making picks. We want to talk our shit, laugh and joke, see what really happens on the big stage. So, man, tune in. Let's get it.
Absolutely. So yeah, don't wait till the last minute.
Yes, sir.
Hit those subscribe buttons right now. It don't cost you a cent, but it means the world to us. So help us out, y'all. Help us out.
Only thing in this world that's free is love. And sometimes that ain't free, but out here it is.
But aside from that, ladies and gentlemen, as always, we appreciate y'all time. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you came to sit down and kick it with your boys. We appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
And as always, from us here at CHI Go Bears, ladies and gentlemen, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. And we'll holler.
Peace out. Stay dangerous, y'all. See y'all next time.
Peace.